This man wanted to be a god. In just 10 days, he built a paradise, only for an 8-year-old girl and a chicken to bring it all crumbling down. So here's what happened. Mariam was just a child who had lost everything. Her parents, gone. Her home turned to ashes. She wandered the streets, starving, surviving on scraps, and sleeping wherever the cold night allowed. One evening, after another day without food, her weak body gave up. Her legs gave out, and she collapsed onto the cold ground. Her stomach hurt, her vision blurred, but she had stopped crying over hunger a long time ago. Then, a sound, a faint, weak chirping. Her eyes slowly opened. Had she imagined it? No. There, in the dim light of the alley, a tiny chicken lay huddled in the dirt. Its feathers were dirty and messy, its movements slow and tired. Her heart pounded. Food! Using the little strength she had left, she crawled toward it. To her surprise, it didn't move away, didn't try to run. It just sat there, waiting. For a moment, she hesitated. But hunger was cruel. Dragging herself to the broken-down building she sometimes called home, she laid the chicken down. With shaking hands, she gathered sticks, ready to make a fire. Then, "Please, don't." She froze. The voice was barely louder than a whisper, like a soft plea carried by the wind. Her breath caught. She turned around, but the alley was empty. Then she looked down. The chicken, its beak hadn't moved, yet she knew. The voice was coming from it. A chill ran through her. You can talk?" she whispered. The chicken looked up at her with tired, sad eyes. "Please," it said again. She swallowed hard, her hands clenching the dirt. She could still eat it. She should eat it. But that look, that was the same look she had given strangers. Silent, desperate, begging. The fire crackled beside her. Tears filled her eyes. She couldn't do it. With trembling hands, she picked up the chicken and held it close to her chest. It didn't resist. It didn't run. For the first time in her life, she wasn't alone. That night, she didn't eat. That night, for the first time in a long time, she felt warmth. And from that moment on, they were family. She named the chicken Koko. Together, they searched for food, shared their warmth, and protected each other. And as the years passed, Koko grew, bigger than any normal chicken, smarter than any bird. More than just a companion, Koko became Mariam's guide, her protector, her only friend in the world. Koko grew so big that sometimes Mariam could ride on its back. People were amazed, and they gave her food and money just to watch them play. Children loved watching Koko and Mariam. Koko could fly a little, it would carry Mariam and glide around just to entertain the kids and the people watching. Since Koko came into her life, hunger was no longer a problem, but fate had one last test for them. Because one day, the world would try to take Koko away, and Mariam would do anything, anything, to stop that from happening. The richest man in town was Rashad. He was vain, arrogant, and cruel. He only cared about power, control, and his own pleasure. He took from others, even the poorest people in town. He forced the poor to pay taxes they could never afford. When they failed, he sent his men, cold and ruthless, to take their farms, their animals, and their last bit of food. He took everything, leaving them with nothing but misery. Even the rich were not safe from him. He tricked smaller merchants and landowners into unfair deals. He would lend them money with impossible interest rates, and when they couldn't pay, he took their homes, their businesses, and their gold. One merchant, Kasem, had worked hard for years to build his wealth. But Rashad saw him as a threat. He invited Kasem to his grand estate, pretending to offer a business deal. He spoke sweetly, making Kasim believe they would be partners. But the contract he made Kasim sign was a trap. It secretly gave Rashad everything Kasim owned. When Kasim realized the betrayal, he rushed to Rashad's palace, demanding justice. But Rashad only laughed, sipping his wine with a smirk. "Justice?" Rashad sneered. "Justice belongs to those who own it, and now I own everything you had." Kasim fell to his knees, begging for mercy, but Rashad only waved his hand. His guards grabbed Kasim and threw him into the streets, penniless. His home, his warehouses, his servants, all were now Rashad's. The poor suffered even more. A widow named Amina with 3 hungry children begged Rashad to let her keep her small farm. It was all she had left. But Rashad saw an opportunity. He demanded a rent she could never pay. She cried as his men tore down her home, leaving her and her children on the road, shivering in the cold. At night, Rashad sat in his golden palace, counting his wealth, enjoying the suffering of those beneath him. He thought of himself as a king above all others. And if there was anything left in town that he did not own, he would take it soon enough. Everyone feared and hated him. One day, in Rashad's chamber, Rashad thought about how to make everyone look at him as a god. He wanted to be above the world, ruling everyone. Then, an idea came into his mind, and he smirked. He called all his trusted servants and said, "I want to build a paradise, bigger than the world, reaching the heavens. I want to be a god." All the servants looked at each other in surprise, dumbfounded. One of them, Kazim, spoke while kneeling in front of Rashad. "My lord, you are already above the world. Why do you?" Rashad cut him off and yelled, "How dare you!" All the servants trembled and immediately apologized. Kazim quickly bowed his head and said, "My lord, I have an idea of how to get it done." Rashad sighed, looking calm. "So, what's your idea?" Kazim replied, "Let's invite all the building contractors and choose the best among them." Rashad said, "Okay, let's do that." He invited all the building contractors and told them, "I want to build a paradise, adorned with gold, bigger and taller, reaching the heavens." One of the contractors stepped forward and said, "My lord, it will take up to 6,000 years." Rashad shouted, "What? What do you mean? Guards, throw this foolish man out." Many of them stepped forward one after the other, but Rashad was not satisfied with any of their plans. He was almost giving up when he heard one of them say, "My lord, it will only take 10 days." Everyone gasped. Rashad, shocked, looked at him. "What did you say?" The man replied, "My lord, you'll have your paradise in 10 days. Rashad smiled and said to the man, "Are you sure?" The man replied, "Yes, my lord." Rashad asked, "What is your name?" The man replied, "Sahid, my lord." Rashad turned to one of his servants, Kazim, and said, "Take him to the acres of land and let me know how much it will cost to complete the paradise." Then the paradise building began. Rashad sent his guards and men to collect every valuable, every piece of gold, diamond, and glitter from everyone who possessed them, adding them to the building materials. His men attacked people, forcefully collecting their valuables, beating those who refused to let go of their golden treasures. After 10 days, the paradise was built, and Rashad was overjoyed. Now comes D-Day. Rashad is ready to celebrate his newly built paradise and declare to the world that he is now their god and that they must worship him. He has invited every rich man and woman in the world, the cruel and powerful people like him, to celebrate with him. He plans to entertain them, but the entertainment is one of the cruelest methods in the world. He has 3 big wolves, and he feeds them live animals every day. This time, he is planning to entertain his guests by playing a game of chase, but not with people. Instead, with animals. He ordered his men to collect every livestock, every animal in the world before the day of his celebration, which they did. One day, Mariam and her chicken decided to travel to another town. During their journey, they became tired and exhausted, and they decided to hunt for food as usual. They walked around until they came close to Rashad's paradise. They were admiring the paradise from a distance, and Rashad saw them through his window. He yelled, "Guards, didn't I tell you to collect every animal in the world? What is this small girl doing with this mighty chicken?" The guards trembled. "We are sorry, sir. We don't know how this happened. Go and collect the chicken." As Mariam and her chicken walked closer, the guards stopped them. "You! Hand over that chicken now." Mariam asked, "Why? This is all I've got. Koko is my family." One of the guards slapped her. The chicken spoke, "Don't hurt her." The guards were stunned, but instead of feeling awe, they saw this as a sign that the chicken must be magical and worthy of the tyrant's collection. Mariam pleaded and begged. This was all she had. They ignored her and forcefully took the chicken away, leaving the girl heartbroken and alone. Mariam cried. She looked up to heaven and pleaded with God to save her friend from these wicked people. She cursed them, begging God to destroy their happiness. On the day of the celebration, the kingdom gathers in Rashad's golden palace, a massive, lavish structure filled with stolen wealth and suffering. The girl sneaks in, desperate to save her only friend. Rashad prepares the feast. His wolves are ready, the guests are watching, and the final moment has come. The chicken speaks one last time, but instead of begging for mercy, it warns Rashad, "You have taken what was not yours. You have stolen the joys of others, but no man's greed goes unpunished." The people laugh. Rashad smiles. "Oh, you talking chicken? Who will punish me? Who will save you?" He smirks. Don't you know? I am God. Mariam, in the midst of the people, watches in silence, teary-eyed, thinking of a way to save her friend. She sneaks to the gate to see what she can do, but the place is fully guarded. She can't do anything but watch. Rashad raises his glass in a toast and shouts, "Let the game begin." The guards release all the animals into the garden and unleash the wolves upon them. The animals run for their lives. The wolves chase, catch, and kill them. Some are still running. The chicken is also trying to escape the wolves. Mariam prays in silence. Almighty God, please save my friend. She is all I have. The Almighty heard her plea and answered her prayers. Suddenly, the sky darkens. The earth trembles. A terrifying divine force arrives. A mighty angel appears, his wings shaking the heavens. With just one strike, Rashad's entire paradise collapses. Many people run for their lives. The chicken escapes. Rashad tries to flee, but the angel blocks his path and says, "You are a sinner, and you deserve to be punished by the Almighty." The angel leaves. Rashad kneels, looking up to heaven, and pleads, "Almighty God, please give me one more chance." Before he can complete his sentence, Rashad's entire paradise collapses, burying him, his guests, and his wealth beneath the earth forever. The girl watches in shock as everything disappears. The city is erased from existence, leaving only an empty desert behind. Some people escape and flee the town, but many perish in Rashad's paradise. Mariam is the only survivor. She finds her chicken, safe and unharmed. The chicken gently nudges her forward and says, "Come, little one. The world is still wide, and kindness still exists. Let's go find it." The story ends with the girl and her magical chicken walking toward the unknown, leaving behind the ruins of greed and corruption.